Speed Gaming 2! The time loop has reopened. The orbs have been smashed. The resulting stones were stolen and scattered around the world to distract while this new evil incubates. But the Light Warriors have returned. They will need 28 stones to restore the Black Orb and confront this new malevolence. Final Fantasy Randomizer fans and Speed Gaming fans, my name is Will Cleosis. Welcome to some Saturday night shenanigans. We've been doing this all day. Finals. Edgeworth, defending champion. Artea, challenging him. We've been playing it all day. Broadcast partners tonight. This is going to be a great show. Right now, joining me in the booth, Maya. Maya, tell us about how we got to Edgeworth and Artea. What's been going on all day in Final Fantasy Randomizer?
You know, we started at 20 racers today at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and 7 hours of racing later, we are down to our last 2 racers, and what a matchup we have between Edgeworth and Artea. We started at 1 o'clock this afternoon with Minochi 85, the Buzzsaws, returned to form, beat a stacked 20-man race by 10 minutes to take first place. Edgeworth, who's in the race tonight, finished in second. Artea was in 6th place. And then we had 2 barn burners of races at 3 o'clock and 5:30. Some of the best racing I have seen this community ever put together. Artea has pulled out his patented 2-man strats for these last 2 races and has finished first in both of them. At that 3 o'clock race, Edgeworth finished in 4th, just squeaked in right at the end. We had a nuclear Kraken, a nuke Tiamat, and a double tornado chaos with a nuke kicker. At the end of that Temple of Fiends. At one point, we had 6 racers on Chaos at the same time, racing for three spots. The successful runners, a lot of them had to go grind for levels to finish that. At 5:30, we've got Artea at first again, Edgeworth at second. We saw a wormhole seed for the first time on screen. Titan's Tunnel led to the Cardia Islands, where the floater was locked and hiding. No other way to get there than through the Titan's Tunnel. Edgeworth roared from behind in a really hype 4-person race to claim second place at that. And really special mention to both Crab Cakes and One Fine Day, who finished in 3rd and 4th in that race. They both raced great today, but they both fell a little short of the finals. And that is how we got here today. Artea versus Edgeworth. Trenton GL is also in the broadcast booth with us. Trenton, tell us a little bit about these 2 racers and what it is we're going to see tonight.
Edgeworth made his presence felt right away in the first round. He finished in 2nd, the closest to Minochi. Artea was back to form in round 2, picking up the win there and the win in round 3. So Artea, Edge, they've both been there all day. Edge was a 4th place finish also, and then obviously 2nd place in the last one to get here. This is a flag set that's designed to go fast, but it's not free by any means. Last time we saw the Dukes be a gatekeeper in Temple of Fiends Revisited. You need 28 shards to get there. Your bosses along the way, 100% minimum on their stats. We have just a couple incentivized locations, but you're going to be checking everywhere because you need these shards. Get 15 key items, you'll get double your EXP. And oh, by the way, Floor Shuffle is on. You go into Castle Canaria, no telling what you're going to find.
No telling what you're going to find whatsoever at all. Sea Shrine's incentivized, Canary Lock is incentivized, absolutely no other locations are incentivized. We're just about ready to go. This is the finals, 1-day tournament. We went Final Fantasy Randomizer, all-day action. This is what we ended up with. Maya told you that story. Maya, Trenton GL, myself, the infectious Will Cleosis. We've got Zardia behind the scenes and complete all-star crew. Great to be here tonight on Speed Gaming 2 Saturday Night Shenanigans, and we are off. Artea with a veteran move, same with Edgeworth, directly to Canaria Castle, which is shuffled to Canaria Castle.
And lo and behold, we have a cube to start, but we have no idea of knowing where that cube we're going to cash that in for. This is SRL number 1 versus SRL number 2 in our standings. This is as good as it gets. They get 400 gold to start. There's not a whole lot of resources out there. Iron Staff for 135 for your trouble? What do you think, Trenton?
Thinking, let's hope the magic shop has something good. Or
Not
actually,
much.
as viewers, hope it has something bad.
Not much, guys. It's
We're almost
rub.
able to kill stuff with.
It's rub in the black magic shop. In Viz 2 is red mage learnable in the white magic shop, but not very strong early game, guys.
Yeah, I might have to go back to that weapon shop and get a stick, because the fighter just does something better when something's in his hand.
Maya, with this magic not being the greatest, there's a free bridge on in this flag set. Do you head directly to Provoca, look for level 2 magic, get a level so you can actually get some charges?
I don't think I'm going to go to Provoca right away. I do want to go perhaps look to see what's going on in Temple of Fiends and see if there's any chests I can open for resources, or stop by Matoya's cave, see what's hiding inside there, whether or not I can pick up some gold so that when I get to Provoca I can actually buy something. And that's exactly what it looks like we're seeing from both Edge and Artea. Looks like they're heading up towards that Temple of Fiends entrance.
That's exactly what they're doing. Deep Temple of Fiends is not on in this design flag set. There are, however, potential blocks. The Temple of Fiends could be in Mirage Tower, which would be behind the cube, and it is not. It's the Temple of Fiends?
Who rolled this? Oh well.
It's been randomized.
Rub does what it needs to, and Artea is passed. The warp will not work back because entrance shuffle is on, and warp could actually be a bad thing. Both of our runners seeing success with Rub. So now it seems like the play is go back and get the Princess Sarah item.
This almost throws me off a little bit. It's entrance and floor shuffle. Again, we've been playing this all day. Players have been practicing. This has been out for about 2 weeks, and it's kind of odd to see both of these. We've just double-checked the flags and everything. This is randomized. It really is.
This is crazy. That's hilarious.
Both players are going to head back towards Canaria Castle. We can see Edgeworth heading back. The newly rescued Princess Sarah is going to go ahead and hand over the floater, which we don't quite have access to quite yet, but just might soon. And we already have the cube from the King of Canaria.
Artea getting ready for his patented two-man strats. He's starting to get that equipment ready for his fighter. There is a tale of two different strategies that we're going to see here today. Artea is going to drop 2 characters as quickly as possible and try to run a two-man party. Edgeworth is going to keep all 4 of his party members up. I have watched him over the course of the last couple of weeks. He may drop the White Mage if the White Mage is not critical to a strategy. That's where you need to start looking for things like Exit to see whether or not it's useful.
Both players simultaneously going through the credit sequence at the bridge. Let's see where they go. Is it a stop off at Matoya? It is not for Artea. He's headed directly saving about halfway through on his way to Provoca. He's going to reset, try to get there as soon as he can. Edgeworth is going to take a fight on his way there, though.
I think they got just enough money out of Temple of Fiends to justify going and checking those spells. If you had just 1,000 gold, you might need to shop for more, look around for more.
So Lost in the Shuffle at the beginning of this seed, we also did see Fast at level 1 for the Black Magic. That is one of those critical Black Magic spells that you do want to find sooner rather than later to know whether or not you're going to have use of it. Here comes level 2 Black Magic for Artea. We've got Fire 2 and then a whole bunch of other stuff that we might not want as much of. On the White Magic side, I saw Ruse, and I believe I saw Harm 3 on the White Magic side, but it looks like we're heading to the Pirates now.
Only
AoE will do the
yeah.
job for you against pirates. Fortunately, they just don't have a lot. But he's apparently also going to try and have the pirates take care of the damning for him.
Artea's got the 3 black mages, but as Maya talked about, he's going to try to let go of 2 of them. Is this a place where you let them go if you're doing that strategy with the pirates? I would think.
Well, you know, it depends in part on what the pirates can do. We have the safe pirates settings enabled, so he's not that worried about the pirates killing him. Otherwise, this could be a strategy that potentially backfires.
Edgeworth gets off the Fire 2 and is the first to take out the pirates. Artea's down to his fighter, but I don't think he's going to have too hard of a time. Vicky, the pirate, hands over the ship.
This is what we get for letting Will roll the sea.
We promise this is randomized, everyone.
Now, extended open progression is on. We do not have a free canal, So we are a canoe or a canal away from potentially getting in the air with the floater, cube, and ship in hand already here at the 6-minute mark. Spells are weak. I've got to think Edgeworth maybe saves, gets some more saving items, and heads and looks towards level 3 and 4 magic.
Now it looks like he's going to make the Matoya play because it's so much faster with the ship. The encounter rate is significantly less on the seas, so you can explore faster. It just makes the travel so much better.
Edgeworth closing in on Matoya's, and finally we have something different. There's the canal right off the bat. Edgeworth turning around immediately. Artea's right behind him, neck and neck. Trenton, you talked about it. These are our number 1 and number 2, and they've been exchanging those top slots of the Speedruns Lives rankings for Final Fantasy Randomizer, and here they are, neck and neck, doing the same thing. Edgeworth picks up the couple chests. He's found the Q block, but he's going toward a trap tile. He finds some wizards. He's got the cube. He wants to find out where this leads. I would think this might be an information dive, as he finds Elfland Castle.
Yeah, so he's not going to be able to do anything with that right now. The reset strats are fine. And he goes back for the silver helmet because that's the best piece of armor he's found so far. Because it's the only piece of armor he's found so far.
Artea doing the same thing. He finds the wizard trap tile. He's getting throttled by the wizards. He's going to reset. He doesn't want that information. He's going to leave.
And so we have been everywhere we can be on this side of the continent, and now both Artea and Edgeworth are going to have to either run or sail westward. Dwarf Cave will be the next place we can check. After that is Northwest Castle, and then Elfland itself does have level 3 and level 4 magic. This is going to be kind of, both of those levels are going to be relatively make or break for Artea with 3 black mages. I do hope, and I'm sure he's hoping, that there's some good resources there that he's going to be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, Artea's going to step into a slight lead here. He's headed directly towards the Ryukon Desert. Finding that canal so early, ship in hand, floater in hand, he's headed for the airship.
No sighting of the canoe. This is actually a canal-required seed at the moment. In fact, both runners are going to bypass Elfland, Marsh Cave, and Dwarf entrances as well as Northwest. That's a lot to go past.
It is.
Although, I will say, I think you might see a loop back to Elfland on the way to get the airship.
We talked about this offhand just a little bit. Temple of Fiends is not deep. It will not be behind, a Q block or anything like that. It could be behind an Oxiel lock. But there's wraiths, I think, or shadows with Blizzard. We know wolves have lightning too as well.
And this is Zozo Melmont. So
Edge can't even get to Melmont. Temple of Fiends will not be deep. However, at this point in time, it still could be canoe required. We do not have the canoe quite yet. It's great to be in the air and travel around, but something to keep in the back of our minds.
What? What? Vince, what did you do? Since when can we see pirates here?
Pirates is one of the 8 encounter groups that show up in Zozo Melmont, as Edge just can't get anything going in Meridian, BC's favorite town of Melmont. Artea has gone all the way to the desert, and he's in the air at the 9.5-minute mark.
I don't think in all that Edgeworth ever actually checked the magic shops to see what was there.
Well, we're not going to find level 6 white magic from Artea. We won't know what's in that shop, but we are going to find out what the confused old blob of men have for their progression item here.
Edgeworth has the white mage as his lead light warrior. He's up to something.
Confused old men have the bottle today. I would wonder if he was intentionally trying to drop the white mage, except for the fact that he hasn't checked level 3 and 4 magic yet.
Artea heads directly towards the volcano area. Burned off an encounter, reset, now he's headed towards the ice cave. Shuffled entrances, he finds one of the entrances to the Titan Tunnel.
That was key last time. I think there might have been a momentary lapse where Edge forgot about extended open progression being on. So, the dock is there, but that is not vanilla behavior.
Artea went to the Elfland area, checked the shuffled entrance of Elfland Castle, found it was a dungeon, said got out of there, took the information, did not check Elfland.
Well, he doesn't have the spell charges yet, so what's there isn't really that important right now because he doesn't have the charges and he doesn't have the money. So probably looking for something like dragon floors where he can get a bunch of gold, hopefully. Was that Fate at level 6?
Yes, it was. It was Fade at level 6 and also Fire 3 sitting at level 6. So advantage Artea there. Edgeworth is not going to have a Fade caster until much later, if at all.
And Brackstrats. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at this point to see Edge drop the White Mage.
Artea's just doing a ton of exploring. The Marsh Cave was Castle Ordeal. He's found Bahamut at Sarda. Northwest Castle was some sort of dungeon. The Dwarf Cave was actually Northwest Castle. Earth Cave was a dungeon. He just continues to gather information.
Well, I've given up trying to take notes as to what each entrance is at this point. Artea going too fast. Artea going at Artea speed.
Yeah, I think Artea is just really looking for that easy treasure somewhere, enough to get him funded for buying spells. And other useful supplies.
Ooh, Kraken. So that is Kraken's floor there at Cardia Grasslands. That'll get you 4 shards. Tiamat also hiding up here. That's 4 shards. So that's 8 of the 28 shards that our 2 runners are going to need right next to each other up here in Cardia Islands.
Chat says Artea making our commentary confused old men. I ask, what do you mean by making? Edgeworth, by the way, found the Zeus Gauntlet, a very nice find, especially early game.
And Artea has found the entrance he's looking for. There's a bunch of chests up here at this Mirage Tower entrance, and so he went ahead and burned off a couple of encounters so that he can get to these, I believe, 7 or 8 chests on this floor.
Edgeworth down to 2.
Artea gets the Fire 2 off against the vampires, and they're pretty weak. Took them both out. There's some experience and gold. 5, 6. Levels 4, 5, and 6 for Artea on his Black Mage.
Thor's Hammer as well. Early cast items available to Edge. But Artea didn't come to this dungeon yet.
Ooh, Wait Catman is not a good encounter here for Artea right now. There went those levels.
Catch up with a couple questions in chat. It's 28 shards to be able to get to the finish, and we've not seen level 3 and 4 magic yet.
So when you see the word stone, like we just did, those are what we're collecting today in this shard hunt. And so we will need to have 28 of those. You can also kill some fiends along the way to pick up some stones. Once you got 28 stones, you can open up the portal to our remixed Temple of Fiends Revisited, and go ahead and challenge Chaos to win this thing.
Artea has found our first ribbon of the seed. It's not big on the absorb, unless of course you're facing AoE magic to the face that does a whole ton of damage, in which case you're very glad to have the ribbon. And we've got the Ice Cave. That's going to be more than just the one floor. That's going to be several floors.
Artea's looking for a fight. He's looking for those vampires, I think. He goes in and he's walking around. That's the fight that he wants right there. That's Fire 2's probably going to take out all 4 of them.
Yeah, that's really good experience. He's made advantage of that today, taking smart encounters. Rather than a dedicated grind, he tries and gets his experience along the way from stuff like that.
Here come the levels again. We're going to get up to level 8 on both of those 2-man strats. Edgeworth down to 1 poisoned light warrior with 3 hit points. Look out.
Edge says, what? 2-man strats, I'll go one better than that.
Edge has spent a lot of time in here. He's utilizing the Thor's Hammer really well and its cast of lightning too in battle, but he spent a lot of time on this first floor of Earth.
Part of that is just what the encounter table is doing to him.
That is a note of some discussion in our community regarding strategy in this flag set, whether or not there are enough chests on this floor that Edgeworth is diving to make it worth its while. There's only a couple, 3 chests down at the bottom of this and 1 up towards the top, and a whole lot of running around to get back and forth there. But if you find something, there's a real good chance that your opponent may not.
The other big thing about Earth Floor is the variety of enemies that are here. There's more enemies in your Earth Cave and Ice Cave than, say, Volcano. That means different types of enemies. So when Script Shuffle is on, that's more potential sources of the nasty stuff, the death touches, the nukes, the etc. All that stuff that can kill you. Speaking of things that can kill you, or kill the fiends, Edgeworth found the power gauntlet and says, "That's good enough, let me go save."
And that's
Pretty good pickup, yeah.
It is. That is exactly the type of item that you want to find in one of these Earth Cave chests if you're going to take the time to dive it. That is a huge find for Edgeworth. We will see whether or not Artea takes the time to go ahead and dive those far out of the way chests to find that as well. Advantage Edgeworth, as far as equipment goes, that's a big pickup.
He's going back in that same entrance.
He lost the Thor's hammer on the way, and possibly the Zeus gauntlet. I imagine he'd want one or both of those back.
That's a good floor that he finds, though. Second deep. It's a deep floor in the original volcano, and he finds a trap tile.
Wow.
I think that's the 3 to 6 metal slimes, the smaller slime trap tile. They're susceptible to fire. He's got fire too, and he fires it from the Black Mage.
Yeah, this is an experience point bonanza waiting to happen here, and it's in a relatively easy to reach location for Edgeworth. Now it's looking pretty likely that you can get as they start hitting for a lot of damage, but you're going to get some levels off of these slimes, and you can stick around for a little bit too.
I don't think you want to stick around against these guys when it took 4 fire 2s to clear it out. They're just not very efficient at that rate. It's worth it once you're already in there, but I don't think he'll set out to take that fight again. Fire 3 might be a different story.
Okay, taking on one Arachnid. The rub misses. He's going to fire another one. Erased and terminated. Artea takes out the Arachnid. He continues his dive. He's in the original Elfland Castle. He's diving the newly shuffled second floor of the Earth Cave. Meanwhile, Edgeworth is heading back to that original volcano entrance. He's going to bypass the first floor of Earth. Reset.
Yeah, he still doesn't know where this leads.
And so we're watching both Edgeworth and Artea have to run backwards out of dungeons, which does not feel great and actually sort of messes with your head a little bit because you're not used to reversing through some of these floors. This is where we would love to know where warp and exit have fallen, because that helps to speed your progress through these scrambled dungeons.
One thing I'd like to point out, Trit and Maya, the third place finisher just really a couple hours ago to almost make it to the top 2 in this final, Crab Cakes. The showing and the results that Crab Cakes has had in the last few months, and most especially recently, has been absolutely outstanding. CC is really moving up the ranks toward this elite type level player, so congratulations to Crab Cakes, and I look forward to seeing CC on one of these matches coming up in the very near future.
Absolutely tremendous results today, and a great find for Artea in the Flame Shield, one-upped on the other screen by Edgeworth finding the defense sword.
Artea's going to take on this eye to try to get another level. Another stone pickup for Edgeworth. Both of our players are under 5 shards. I believe Edgeworth has 3, Artea right around 4. So as far as progression, we're pretty even on that with both players in the air. We do have Nuke and Warp. Artea does have 4 stones. Nuke and Warp were available at level 4 Black Magic in Elfland.
A couple of softs in this volcano. That's a sneaky good thing. 2 is usually a pretty comfortable number unless you see something common turning your party members into stone. And Edge has found them instead of needing to buy them.
Edge has really focused in on that original volcano entrance. He spent a lot of time there. We'll keep an eye on that and see how that pans out in the future as we just get past the 20-minute mark as Edge heads to Elfland, where he's going to find the Warp and Nuke charges at level 4 with Lightning 3 at level 3.
And just Edgeworth gave us a quick peek at his party composition at that point. There is a pretty significant level difference that is opening up between these two racers. Artea's two-man strat party is already up at level 9, level 10. Edgeworth's three-man party is cruising around at level 4. And so that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as we continue.
I think Edge is going to three-man the rest of the way now that he knows that he's not going to have Fade in the first 4 levels. That's usually kind of a relevancy line. First 4, you're going to get a good number of charges. Beyond that, they start getting iffy. Now he's got Nuke in his arsenal now. He'll need a few more levels to make advantage of it, but having access to that is definitely going to improve his ability to get through the game.
Artea heads to the original Marsh Cave. He's going to do Castle Ordeal and its shuffled pillars.
This is another dungeon in this flag set that's a bit of a question or a bit of a discussion amongst our community, whether or not taking the time to dive these 8 chests at Castle Ordeals makes sense in a shard hunt race like this. If it were incentivized, I think that most of the community would solidify that it's a great idea to go do, but there is no incentive chest in Ordeals today. And so we've seen all sorts of different approaches to this. We've seen some racers avoid it. We've seen other racers go right for it. And Artea's going to go ahead and do this. Let's see if Edgeworth does the same or not.
Yeah, he's about to find out that information. He walks forward and he resets. He's going to go back in.
About it.
I don't like doing this in this design. I'm on that side, Maya. Unless I have the exit spell. I don't want to go through all this, even though I learned the pillars. And I don't want to run into like an unrunnable trap tile or something goofy at the end to just try and get out. So that's certainly my stance on it. But these players, they're in the final 2 champion players, number 1 and number 2. They're both going for it.
Uh-oh. So those were Medusas with both Quad X and Crack, and Edgeworth saw that and said, "No, thank you." He's bolting right out of there.
Especially after he invested that time in the other dungeon, I don't think he wants to consistently do that. You might have good reasons to stick around in one dungeon, but why this one? The odds are 1 shard's available in there. You know you can go back to it if you need one.
Stone poison out of the red dragon misses Artea. He's trying to take him out. There's a lightning 3 that gets the job done.
He had a ribbon, so he probably was feeling a little more confident with that.
Chances are high Edgeworth will not go back to Ordeals now that he knows what's there. So let's see what Artea gets for his trouble here. So far, just a whole bunch of cash.
More cash. How about the last chest? He gets a stone out of it, and here's the trap tile. He gets ambushed. The ambush shuffle is not on. So mages like this with Dazzle are gonna, and Ruse, and Cure 4.
Oh boy.
Well, nobody said the mages were going to be easy.
Edgeworth picks up another stone. He is diving the original Earth Cave area. He's ran into the Earth Cave. Looks like he's gonna try to leave and get out and save. I believe Edgeworth has a 1 stone lead at this point in time as we near the 25-minute mark. But the leveled lead for Artea is pretty good. He's right here. He's in the middle teens almost. I think he's like 13.
Edge picked up 2 stones in that one room, while Artea only got 1 for going through Castle Ordeals. Utility-wise, Crabcakes makes a good point that the Power Gauntlet and defense, Edge has those, Artea currently doesn't, but usually the only time you need those are Temple of Fiends Revisited, so it remains to be seen if Artea will have that in the end or not.
Level 5 Black Magic saw Bane, and I believe that was Ice 3, but that's locked out. That's the original Warp slot, so it's going to be locked to class promotion for both players tonight. Artea returns to the original Dwarf Cave. He was already there earlier. Knows it's Northwest Castle. He's gonna stay in this area. He's not gonna go to the north. He's gonna burn off an encounter. He's gonna try to dive. It looks like he's gonna burn off some more encounters. It looks like he's got the encounter table really figured out. Let's see what happens. He burns off 4 or 5 encounters. Let's see the run that he gets to get through this floor of the ice cave. Not much.
Well, it's not necessarily about the first one you're going to get. When you work through the encounter table, it's going to be the steps 1 through 8 battles. So if you burn off, say, the first 5, it's maybe not to get a big run between 5 and 6, but because of the wraparound on the other side, you're getting 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 7, and that gap may actually work out to be pretty reasonable for you.
Maya, is that math? Did he just do math? What is
I
that?
did no such
What is that?
thing.
But no, I'm talking to Maya.
That sounded like numbers being strung together in some sort of an arithmetic way. Yes.
There was absolutely no math done there. Tents at 50 gold is not a bad price, not a great price, but when you're only outfitting 2 light warriors, you got a bunch of money.
Meanwhile, I look over at Edgeworth's screen, and he's cruising along with his light warriors at 1 hit point apiece. Just a normal Saturday evening for Edge.
Edge saves, and Melmon jumps in his airship. I gotta think he's gonna do a little bit more exploring. Yes, he is. He's headed over to the east entrance of the Titan's Tunnel. We know this is a dungeon that has not been dove, and that's that TFC floor and unrunnable Sahags. I can't stand this floor, Maya. I try to stay away from it as much as I can, especially when the R Sahags have slow, because that's just so annoying and it just slows you down.
Over on Artea's side, this was a critical juncture in this match. Artea skipped the first floor of Earth where the power bonk is hiding, so we will have to see whether or not Artea goes back on the way back up to check those chests. But he has found a much more rich chest environment here on this fire floor. But that's a difference in equipment that we're going to see whether or not is going to pay dividends for Edgeworth down the stretch here.
Edgeworth runs into some ghosts, and they started rocking him. He quickly resets. He's going to try to continue the dive. We'll see if he checks any chests. He's at 6 shards right now, or if he just continues on. He might just do these 2. And see, there's a Vorpal pickup for Edgeworth. That is potentially huge in the late game. He's got the Power Gauntlet. If you can pair that with a Vorpal and get a class change, that will put Edgeworth in prime position to try to defend his title as the one-day Final Fantasy Randomizer Tournament champion.
Meanwhile, Artea did find the defense sword, so that equipment gap has closed.
He also found a whole big, huge seafood bonanza that he's able to get out of, clears that room, doesn't like what he sees, resets, thought about going to some other chests, decides not to. He's going to reset, he's going to go, and he's going to dig deeper into this dungeon, it looks like.
Well, that reset takes away the defense sword. One presumes he's going to go back for it.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Vorpal actually is a huge pickup. You're not just being hyperbolic. Edgeworth has a red wizard that if we can get a class change, that Vorpal paid dividends for Edgeworth in the past in some of his practice runs here. It was really the only way that we took down a couple of really nasty chaoses. And so that's got to be in the back of his mind. It's a nice sword to see every once in a while.
We had a chaos today that Vorpal would have been a good fit for. It can definitely happen.
We've not seen any loose, other than the canal. We haven't found an Oxyale or a Chime or anything like that quite yet. We found some weapons, Power Gauntlet, Defense Sword, Zeus Gauntlet, and some stones certainly as well, but we haven't seen any type of progression like that as Artea finds the metal slime trap tile.
Nuke's likely to make pretty quick work of these. Yeah, so over 240 damage with these, and it only 50% one-shot this. This is where I was talking about earlier. I didn't think they were very nice for trying to get levels.
Level 14 for Artea, 10 for Edgeworth.
What they do for you when you're in the fight is great, but Artea nopes out of it the second time. And hey, here's Bahamut. Or, no, too early to say that.
The first half of it. How about Lich instead?
Well, I mean, what's the difference, really? You did get the Bane Sword, by the way, so there's that.
Edgeworth picks up another stone. He's in the bottom of Marsh Cave. That'll be the end of this dungeon. It is the original Earth Cave. He's going to clear this out, get as much as he can. It looks like Artea's going to try to get some more shards. He's going to take on Lich. He's got fast at level 1. He's got fire 2, and I think he's got a nuke shot at 2 left as well.
This dungeon has been very kind to Edge in picking up the stones. He's finishing up. I think he's got 2 more rooms to get through.
First fiend encounter of the match, just past the 30-minute mark. There's Blaze right off the first turn from Lich.
No one said
Artea
Lich
survives.
would be every time.
He's just going to attack. There's another attack from the fighter for 105. Lich goes after the Black Mage. The Black Mage survives, says, "Not today, Lich." A nuke for 254 takes him out, and Artea lights an orb. That's a couple of shards at the 31-minute mark for Artea SRL.
So that's 9 shards for Artea now. I think Edgeworth has around that many. I'll have to peek at that when he comes back into his screen here.
There's the real Bahamut's Cave. It's located at the original Sarda area. Keep that in the back of our mind as Artea. He has explored this already, but he's double-checking his notes, it looks like. He's going to dive in. This is where Edgeworth ran into those red Sahags and ghosts that rocked him so much.
Yeah, it is 9 shards to 9 shards, a piece on either side. And so we are all tied up.
Didn't mention this earlier, but one of the things Edgeworth has done, in fact Artea is doing the same, is putting the character who's napping in the second spot. The reason for doing that is to reduce the chances of the rest of the party getting targeted. Basically, on Artea's side, this is as close to math as I'll get. It's about a 3 in 4 chance that they'll attack Andy instead of Kale. On Edgeworth's side, it's more like 50% that the lead fighter will get attacked.
Edgeworth went to the level 5 white magic shop in Melmond. Exit and Cure 4 were in the 3rd and 4th slots. That is not good, because those are both locked out to a class-promoted red mage into a red wizard. Those will both not be available, and he's already let go of his white mage.
The one spell that was there, though, that the red mage could pick up immediately was life. And so he will have a life charge, or 2 to Artea's, if he finds himself in trouble later. Edgeworth thinking about Kraken here. Not yet. And here's Tiamat, and so now Edgeworth also knows where he can find 8 of the 28 shards he needs to finish this off. Making that note right now.
A lot of entrance shuffle, floor shuffle is taking good notes because you can't always do things when you come across them the first time.
Edgeworth heads into the original Cardia tiny area. Artea dove this earlier. Now Edgeworth he's going to go for it as well. We know there's a stone in here, and Artea's in the bottom of marsh. So shards are even. Players going over each other's steps. Not surprising from the 2 top players in SRL rankings of Final Fantasy Randomizer. Great show, very competitive as we reach the 35-minute mark very soon.
Just watching the 2 of them menu and make their selections in battles and stuff, it's like they're robots. They don't make mistakes. They don't sit there and look confused about what it is that they're doing, or they're never indecisive either. They see what happens on the screen and they instantly react to it. And that's exactly why both of them are numbers 1 and 2 in the SRO rankings for this game.
The towns are not shuffled. Melmond is Melmond, Elfland is Elfland. So we know that Gaia is going to be Gaia, Lefane is going to be Lefane. We cannot access the waterfall or Castle of Ordeal at this point in time without that canoe. We have seen the Temple of Fiends, so that's covered, so we know that we can definitely get there. No canoe access at this point in time, so most of the world is opened up, but not quite all of it yet.
The biggest thing we've really not seen is the vendor item and what that could potentially open. And I think we're down to 3 possibilities for that. You have the Vanilla Oasis. We've also not seen the Gaia item shop. And you'd be able to access Onrak. Not via the airship, but via the regular ship.
With access to warp, Edgeworth is going to dive this ice cave loop. He's going to get the 3 free chests here. We'll see if he just takes that. He can also get access to a lot of trap tiles that have been shuffled. He picks up a stone, which is good, and a couple bucks.
With the knowledge of those fiends, it kind of starts to make for an interesting little puzzle you start to put together. Okay, I could get this many shards there, I could get that many shards there. That means I need to find this many shards the rest of the way, and I could go after the fiends to finish it off.
We'd like to thank Speed Gaming for hosting us in our finals tonight, right here. Some Saturday night shenanigans, one-day tournament. We're going at it all day. We're down to Edgeworth, the defending champion of the one-day tournament, being challenged by Artea SRL, legend in Final Fantasy Randomizer. I'm the infectious Wilkliosis, joined by 2 of my very favorites, Triton GL and Ikbid Maya. Behind the scenes, Zardia, the leader of Final Fantasy, taking care of all the tracking, helping us keep track of all this insanity, so we'd certainly like to thank you as well. And we'd like to thank you, the fans, because without you, we can't do these shows. So thank you for joining us tonight here on Speed Gaming 2.
Hey, it only took 36 minutes to get better than a silver sword for one of the runners. We found the flame sword.
So we really do hope that you like these entrance and floor shuffles, because our upcoming spring tournament is going to probably feature this in heaping helpings as we scramble your old Final Fantasy game and turn it topsy-turvy on its head. I do know we have community members that are hard at work making trackers that will help you make sense of all of this if you're watching now or when you're watching later. If the Lastoid is out there, I know he's a community member that has been working very, very hard on visuals that will help you make sense of all of this. And so we've heard your feedback. This is something that we're ready to show and showcase in the big time. And I know that Speed Gaming and our other broadcast partners are going to absolutely be ready to go with some amazing visuals to help you enjoy and understand what's going on here.
Artea's in a bit of trouble. His fighter is stoned. The giant has toxic. He's got mute as well. The mute did not hit. The ribbon protected him, but that's their stinger. He's trying to fight and run. He moves over to run. Looks like it was a misclick from Artea, but he's stuck here. He has got to get away from this fight, and he gets away directly to his menu. He's going to soft up his fighter and continue his journey. And he's checking trap tiles as well on this earth floor.
That is the risk that Artea knows he's taking every time he does this strat. You only have 2 people to be able to get out of a fight. If something like Stone Touch comes up, it could really ruin your run.
That's one of those things that you'd like to see the Black Mage get away with a little bit earlier in that fight. Black Mages are known for their running ability. And it has to be, painful for Artea to watch the run after run after run not connect there. But that's why you play these games, right? Sometimes the strategy doesn't work the way it's supposed to.
A black shirt is a really nice find. It's free casts of ice too. Plus, it's a little bit better than a gold bracelet for a black wizard if you're able to class change.
Edgeworth is in new ground. He's at the forest area, the Artea Islands. He digs out a nice Artea treasure room, but he really doesn't get much. Absolutely no stones whatsoever as far as progression. Does pick up an opal armor.
Using those warp charges to great effect to get him out of that dungeon quickly. That's exactly what you'd like to see. That's another slight advantage that Edgeworth will have over Artea down the stretch here. It's just raw access to additional warp charges to get out of dungeons a little bit faster. It remains to be seen whether or not that's going to result in a noticeable lead here.
This is one of the nice things having that ice shirt could do for Artea is, against some of the weaker encounters that you really don't want to mess with, you could potentially use the Ice 2 with the fighter, run away with the Black Mage, and whichever one works, you're good with it.
Edge is down to 2 warriors at this point. It's the fighter and the Red Mage. We'll see what he decides to do. It looks like he's headed towards Gaia. We know he's got the bottle, and he is headed to Gaia. So he's going to turn that in. Does check out the Black Magic Shop. Sees nothing.
It's also a chance to check for that elusive vendor item. This is one of only a couple locations left for it to be in. Gold bracelets for sale, that's not bad.
Pricey, though, at 39,000 apiece.
Yeah, I consider them on discount anytime they're not max price.
It's 11 shards for Edgeworth. I believe Artea has about a dozen. So again, we are fairly even so far. Edgeworth trying to gear up. And Artea finds a deep floor in the, well, a high floor in the floating fortress. This could be very good value for Artea.
Yeah, there's a lot of great chests on this floor. This is a floor I'm always very, very happy to find in a treasure hunt like this.
I was actually a little curious if Edge would consider selling the Excalibur there. There's our vendor item. It's the chime. That's going to allow access to the Mirage Tower entrance.
Artea gets a stone out of the top 4 chests. He's checking the 6 right chest, gets a katana, and another stone. Little by little, Artea getting a little bit more progression. Decides not to use warp and warp back. He's going to walk this.
He probably wants his warp charges to exit the dungeon if needed.
That's the 3rd stone out of this floor. When we saw this, Mari, you said it, you get excited when you see this floor. He tore through it, got 3 stones, so he's got a little bit of an advantage. Meanwhile, Edgeworth is headed to the spring. He releases a tiny fairy, and he gets the canoe.
That is our big progress block. Now at this point, we have access to most areas in the game. We need Oxyel to get into the Onrak entrance. We need the slab to get the Lefane item. Other than that, the canoe was the last big piece.
Edgeworth is going to use that chime. He's going to take out a couple of sandworms on the way. He likes to see this. He did not revive his black mage. He walked right by the clinic. He's going to 2-man it for a while, guys.
I think this makes a lot of sense. He knows the advantages of Artea's strats, and he could catch that black mage up to a reasonable level while still getting the much higher HP on the red mage.
Yeah, all eyes on Edgeworth here as he's going to go ahead and open up that chime, assuming he can get out of this sandworm encounter. There it goes. He'll save his game out here, I'm assuming, and we'll take a peek inside what the progression is giving us here for Mirage Tower.
Edge did not save after the first sandworm.
He's got no spell charges.
You know you're in rough shape when you have to drink heal potions in battle.
A lot of HP on these sandworms. It just hit for 307. It still wasn't enough, but 211 is. So he's going to house up pretty quick. He's level 14 on his 2 light warriors. No, he's got to fight it. No, he wouldn't fight a Tyro. Oh, he lost a fighter. He is not saved. 180 perishes! Goodness. And he's all the way back at Cardia Forest. All that Gaia stuff he did not save, that's all gone.
That is an awful setback for Edgeworth. He's got to go back and go through all of this again now. And of course, it's the Tyro, the beloved Tyro that Edgeworth always champions, is the one that betrays poor Edgeworth, stabs him in the back, and causes all of that lost progress. Ouch.
It was a rough part of the encounter table. He thought he could get a couple more steps. It was the step he was about to save, and a Tyro takes out Edgeworth. He's got to retrace his steps. Meanwhile, Artea has opened up a stone lead. It's at least 3, maybe 4. As we reach the 45-minute mark. We had, the last match was, what, an hour, right? 59 minutes, I think? So, makes you a little bit nervous.
I actually wouldn't have minded going in to Mirage Tower without saving first, except I would have liked one back at the airship, and I wonder if Edge thought he had already done that. That way you could reset out and just be back at the airship if there's nothing there that you want.
Edgeworth going by his mantra, runs from the Tyro even after what the Tyro did to him. He's gonna run again. He just wants to see what this entrance is at least. He does save outside, not over by the airship. He enters and finds everyone's favorite floor, the floor shuffle, or excuse me, the teleporter maze, which is not shuffled in this flag set.
So
No,
now
although
let's
if you want to see two people who can navigate this when you do shuffle it, it's these two.
So it finds the dwarves, but there's no key here to unlock the locked door that gives you the dwarf armory. So nothing there.
Artea's gonna run through the ice cave that Edgeworth did earlier. With a few shard lead so far. This is the finals one-day tournament. We've been going at it all day. We're down to the defending champion Edgeworth. And as credible a challenger as there can be in Artea right here on Speed Gaming 2.
Edge is really low on supplies right now. He doesn't have heal potions, he doesn't have save items. He needs this item shop to have the good stuff.
Finds cabins, but I'm sure he was looking for houses, especially with his red mage and his black mage. Now he has to conserve charges checking out these dungeons. Looks like we're going to cash in that Oxy Ale first. Let's see what's hiding down here.
Lupa?
Oops, or not.
Lupa?
So, like you were saying, he's going to go up to the waterfall with the canoe.
Exactly. He wanted to talk to that pretty girl who was guarding the submarine, as you do.
Edgeworth's gonna be exploring new ground. No, he's not. He resets. I sense frustration here.
I think at that one he will be, because he doesn't have the save item, so he's got to go back into on-rack and revisit the item shop this time. I think this all went off track when he didn't save back at the airship the first time in Mirage.
Chat's talking about it a little bit as well. I sense frustration here. Edgeworth, of all people, not one to ever really be flustered. He's always cool as a cucumber, as they say. I think he'll catch back up real quick. He's going to take on a Nacho on his way to the waterfall. We have not seen this waterfall entrance.
Well, Artea doesn't even have the canoe yet, so this is our first opportunity to see it. The Nacho not being very cooperative. Yeah, also, let's not forget, Edge had those early wipes that set him back. He was committed to digging that dungeon, took a few deaths from there. That's always going to make you feel behind.
So we're going to find 10 chests on this floor in the greater than less than room inside this Mirage floor tower. And then, so that'll be helpful for Edge. Also, we have not seen where Carrie is lurking yet. Carrie will hold 2 shards herself. And we're running out of places where she could be hiding.
You know what we haven't seen, guys? Mermaids. Mermaids would be huge. If Edgeworth finds the mermaids,
Just picked up Masamune, so that's awesome as well.
So,
look at the offense on the fighter for Edgeworth. Masamune, Vorpal, Defense, and Excalibur are all options, but he just lost the fighter as Rub hits.
well, as long as you stay alive. Well, he doesn't have life. So he may opt to try and explore this, or he may warp out and go back to Onrak.
Artea's really opened up a huge lead now. Maybe not huge, but it's decisive. He's right around 16 shards, I believe.
Artea has also definitely had a lot more momentum on gaining the levels. You know you're going to need a certain amount.
He's got 20 shards. Artea has 20 shards. Edgeworth has, I think he's still running around a dozen. We'll see if we can find out.
This will be highly interesting then to watch for Artea, because if he has 20 shards, 8 more, 4 from Tiamat and 4 from Kraken, will allow you to go ahead and challenge the end of this game. So, all eyes now on Artea. Is Artea done checking chests, or is he still looking for some equipment to make him feel a little bit safer?
That's an interesting position to be in for Artea. The biggest reason to run the two-man strats is you're trying to go to the end game at a higher level. He's not going to have the higher levels if he's able to just get in at, say, a level 20 with this party.
What he is doing is he's getting rocked by the ghost. He's lost his fighter. He gets the nuke off, but it takes out most of the ghosts, but there's still one ghost standing. And he loses initiative, and Artea perishes!
All right, so that's a wipe on either side. That gives a little bit of Artea's advantage back to Edgeworth. So this tightened up just a little bit.
Edge got all the way through to Matoya, but no herb. We were not able to get the item from there just yet.
Did he reset or did he work?
He worked. He got a house on the last floor, and I think he really wanted to keep that. But also he had Masamune, which he would not want to reset out of Masamune.
The freight train of Artea gets slowed down with that wipe. He's headed to the split of the Marsh Cave. 2 different ways you can go. He's in the original Artea Islands, and he goes back down. He wants this Sharknado floor, Trenton. There's a stone. There's another stone. That's 21. I think that's 20. Yeah.
That's the one that he got that he lost. So he picked that one back up, and so he's back at that magic number of 20. And now he's going to go ahead and get the heck off of that floor, and I can't say as though I blame him.
Not as smooth as the previous match with these 2 players. This time last game, both players were closing in. Edgeworth is headed towards Kraken. He's looking for those shards.
This fight is not a gimme. His party is probably at around level 14, level 15 maybe. And Kraken 1 can pack a punch, and he's got only 3 of his party members up. Be nice to have that white mage up to perhaps take a Kraken slap. So let's see what happens here.
Artea is going to get the adamant
as
the Sarda item. Star Tracker Czar will put up on the board. He's doing a great job for us tonight. Thank you, Czar.
Thank you, Czar. We know where the Dwarf Cave is. Edgeworth knows where it is. It's behind the vendor item. The Chime for Sail and Gaia. We know that the Dwarf Cave is there, but we're reaching the point to where that adamant it's not really going to do a lot. As Edgeworth continues to close in, he's going to look to take out his first fiend. He's going after Kraken and the 4 shards that he holds.
It does help to actually equip the Masamune when you have it. It does slightly more damage that way.
He's got it equipped now, so it looks like he's going to move that fighter down to the bottom. I think that's a great idea. Let's see what happens here.
This is a little rough. He doesn't really have what you might want to be able to get past this. He does have the defense, so he's got that for defending against Kraken 1 attacks. And you're not going to need that much.
Edgeworth got the fast off as well as some evasion. He's going to do another one to protect that fighter. Oh my. 514 damage from Kraken. Takes out the Black Mage, but the Black Mage got the job done. All he was there for, Lynx was just there to get that fast off, and he's going to start to attack. There's the Mazmoon for 349, and a Lightning 2 from Kraken, and then another nuke from Edgeworth. 192, not quite enough yet, but Edgeworth closing in on getting these 4 shards. He's only got 12. Big 8 hits from the Mazmoon. He's going to light that. He's going to light the orb, essentially. 4 shards, that's 16 for Edgeworth. Artea's taking a lot of fights. He's hovering right around 20 or 21 shards. That puts Edgeworth back into this game.
I think Artea really does need these fights because I was talking about this earlier. The 2-man strats, the goal is to get levels. He's really behind where he'd want to be going into Topher with just the 2 party members.
Artea made it across the Bridge of Destiny without seeing Warmech. Warmech lurks on here, and you can see Warmech multiple times in this shuffle. Artea's almost made it all the way across the bridge without seeing Warmech.
Artea's trying to neutralize the 4 shards that Edge just got. He keeps firing Bane at Tiamat. It's not hitting. Another ineffective, and Tiamat's starting to bang into Artea a little bit. There's another Bane for the Black Mage. That's no good. He's going to continue. Oh, he's out of Banes, though. He's going to switch strategies. He's going to the defense sword. As Tiamat continues to pound on him, he's going to fire nuke. Only 114. It got resisted.
We could have our runners high-fiving on the same fight. Will it get that far?
Tiamat misses physically. Artea goes back to the Bane. That's ineffective again. Another nuke shot from Artea. 188. This fight keeps going on.
We have seen it all today.
There's Warmech. Edgeworth has it. He's taken the fight. Artea fighting, trying to get his 4 shards on the right. Warmech is devastating Edgeworth on your left. 2 warrior strategies. Oh god, there goes one. Artea's down to the fighter. He fires Bane. That's no good. Tiamat continues the assault. Meanwhile, Edgeworth is down to 1 warrior as well. He's on Warmack on the left side. That's a strike with the match, but that's no good. Warmack misses Edgeworth though. Edgeworth trying to take out Warmack. 5 hits isn't enough. Warmack fires back, but he misses. 3 hits from Edgeworth. No. Warmack, no! Artea still fighting Tiamat, no! 4 hits again for the Masman, 138 from Edgeworth, no! Warmack misses again! Artea's down to 52 HP, the Bane Sword, Poison Smoke! And Artea takes out Tiamat! Edgeworth is, oh, Edgeworth, Thunder from Warmack takes out Edgeworth, he's gonna go back in!
Emergency services dispatched to locally house. He'll need revival. Advanced life support after that. So Edge used the defense sword well. He maxed out his defense, maxed out his evasion against Warmack, but was just so low on HP that basically any spell was going to do exactly what it did.
Edgeworth is going to go ahead and give this a shot again now. It's got to get back across that Bridge of Destiny. I'd be real interested to see if he tries Warmax again, if he finds one.
Well, he knew he could get the evade up, and then it was just a question of was he going to be able to outswing Warmack. As long as Warmack didn't have a spell or skill, it was possible. I don't think you're going to mess with that again. Warmack was hitting too hard. And he was trying to run away, so it was either the defense is going to stack or I run away, hopefully.
All I was able to see out of that chaoticness from Warmack that we will not see in the Fiend refights and Chaos was Thunder. Thunder was what took out Edgeworth. I don't know if we saw anything else. If we did, I missed it.
So
I don't really think so. Artea gets the canoe, by the way, and has enough.
Question for chat, yeah, at this point is what if you're Artea? What do you do? Are you going to go ahead and take a peek at Temple of Fiends to see if you can finish this now? Artea looks like he's going to go ahead and keep checking some chests. But if you were in Artea's situation, how comfortable do you feel that you can finish this?
When you're against an opponent of this caliber, and I say that on either side of the equation, if you've got the ability to go into Topher, I think you got to take a peek and see what happens. The good news for Edge, though, is he's found a couple of those 4 red Hydra fights, and now also the Nachos. A few of those make up for the experience he didn't get from Warmack. Another thing we hadn't touched on is Edgeworth had backed into the 2-man strats again.
Adamant turns into Rod for Artea, which is probably not the item he was looking for there. I think Key would have been a bonanza of a find there for Artea, but it's Rod instead, and Artea's going to go ahead and run away. Will, you got any left in you? Because I see Tiamat's on the screen again.
I do not. I'll be back. Give it to us, Maya. Give it to us, Maya.
I don't think Edge found the Bane sword, so he doesn't have the option of those strats here.
So Edgeworth is going to go with a stack of Invis 2 and also Ruse from the defense sword to go ahead and give that fighter some evasion. Now we're going to start working with that power bonk that Edge has that Artea did not, and so now we see some bonking going on. Tiamat swings and misses multiple times, and now we start to swing at the Masamune, and that's 6 hits for 784 damage. One more swing from Zoa, 7 hits, 573 damage. Tiamat is down. Edgeworth has 4 more shards.
Not going to take many hits when you're doing damage in that range. Tea's up into the 20s now.
And so this is a fascinating moment in this race. Artea has all the shards he needs to go ahead and finish, but not the equipment. Edgeworth has the equipment, but not the shards. And we are 1 hour in, and this is probably going to come down to it.
I think on both sides you're starting to feel the pressure, especially from this point on. You know the person you're running against is good enough that they could, if they found the right path through this seed.
Chat reminding me that Artea has not yet killed Kraken, but he's on the way to do that. So looks like Artea, these will be the 4 shards that Artea needs. Edgeworth still flying around a little bit, looking for a few more shards beyond that. Artea coming in on Kraken. Trenton, it's your turn. You've got a fiend fight on the screen.
Give it to us, Trenton GL!
No Braxtrats available for Artea. He's going to have to go a little bit more risky path. He's got the defense. He's going to bring out Bane to play. It's not as effective against Kraken 1 as it is against Tiamat, but it only has to work once. That defense already coming into play, and Bane worked once. There we go. Artea's through.
Poison smoke hits. I think he's full. Does he have all the shards? I think he's either that or one away.
That should be it. He should have all the shards he needs, but we're going to go ahead and check Onrak anyways. He is looking for a sword to swing. I believe his fighter is only still swinging a flame sword, and that's probably not going to cut it in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
We will see how he reacts to this.
I don't think he can go. I don't think he can go to the end game. Yeah, he's got fast, but you guys are talking about he doesn't have sword. He doesn't have the levels either. I think he could go to the slimes with the nuke and probably get the levels and HP, and it's a short Temple of Fiends, so he can go through and, try to, ram it, but I don't think he's ready.
Yeah, as far as levels go, I think Artea can probably do it with the levels he has now. I don't think that's the concern so much as, like you said, Will, I don't think he's got the damage dealer in order to be able to do this. But we know he's sniffing around in the right area here, so let's see if he continues on this path.
Catman, they certainly know how to be annoying. Artea is slowly working through this.
Trenton, you've been watching these races with me all day. In the second race, we had a short Temple of Fiends that was as nasty as any I have ever seen. You had Tiamat on one side with Nuke, you had Kraken on the other side with Nuclear, and then Chaos was a real gem with double Tornado and Nuke. What do you think? Do you think we have a chance of another one of those this evening?
Well, we are talking about the 100% base stats. We're talking about the range being 100 to 140. So, on average, you're talking about a Chaos being at roughly 2,400 damage. That is a lot to get through. You throw any skills, any abilities that are nasty on that Chaos, it can really hold you back.
Yeah, Maya, you just mentioned how we had the earlier matches today. We had just about 24 players that entered this tournament for the first match, the elimination match. Minochi85 took it, the Buzzsaw. You were in this, Maya. Tarnin, Zarnax, Ali Gerbrap, a couple of Ducklings were in this. Braxis Mute, Xanth came back. Everyone knows Jay Cooper, he was in this. The Spells apps, Shadowwalker227, I know you're joining us as well. This was a large field to begin with. To get down to these 2 players as Artea picks up what he was looking for. There it is, the Mazmoon. Is he ready now? Let's find out.
I think he will feel ready. He warped on out of here. My prediction is that he's gonna go ahead and try this. We are 1 hour and 3 minutes in. Artea finished the 2 seeds prior to this sub 1 hour. He's got to feel like he at least wants to go ahead and attempt this to see if he can finish this off.
The other thing I think would be of some consideration, if you're limited in equipment, you could potentially, this would go against everything Artea is running, so he won't do this, but you could bring back up the Black Mages, level them up to the point where they have 1 or 2 nuke charges, and hopefully get through the Fiends that way.
Meanwhile, Edgeworth found 2 more stones, and so he is 2 stones away
6
from getting the 4. Well, he needs the other 4 then.
Right.
Oh, that's right. He already did Kraken and Tiamat, did he?
Yeah,
Didn't he? So yeah, he needs 6.
Artea enters the Temple of Fiends Revisited and runs into Lich with Nuke, and it obliterates Artea. I think he went left. He's gonna go the other way. Yeah, he's going right. No, he's gonna stick with Lich.
This seed warned us. It warned us all along that things were not random enough, and Lich has nuke first spell. The
Lich
warning
follows
signs were there. And that's why Artea did that, because Lich is low HP.
I tell you though, if I'm Artea, I'm happy that I saw Nuke there, because that's one less Nuke that Chaos could have.
We also know Chaos can't have Thunder. We saw that with Warmech.
Wow!
I think this might be enough to convince you to try the other side if you have to, though.
Yeah, that was a...
Okay, that would.
that brings
I was just saying
down.
that about Kraken, and then Nuclear comes into play.
Artea's gonna go left. He's gonna take carry 2. We will not see Artea go back right. A carry hitting really hard.
Deep left.
Oh! He's got another reset. That's 3 resets. He's leaving. He's leaving the Temple of Fiends. He put the fighter on the bottom. He's up to something.
He's either going to solo level the fighter or he's bringing back Black Mages. He might just be bringing them back to absorb hits.
Artea's starting to adjust. He went in, he had 3 resets. He's not going to go right again. That's Lich and Kraken. He's going to continue to go left, we think. Edgeworth, meanwhile, still a few shards short. Artea originally entered at 1 hour, 5 minutes. He's going to try number 4. He's going to head left and to try carry again. We know carry hits really hard. Quad X is no good. That's good. For Artea gets the fast off and a strike from the Mazmoon, 426 damage. Another hit like that, and carry ain't going to last very long.
So
there
carry
it
is most likely to hit that lead party member. That's why you put the ones you're not worried about living right up at the front.
He's got all 4 of them, too, for the second fight. He probably didn't even expect this. He's going to take on Tiamat 2. We haven't seen Tiamat 2 yet. Wallops! Oh, that's his main Black Mage.
Wrong one.
That's another reset for Artea. He's just going to bulldoze this, it looks like, guys.
Yeah, that one was just bad RNG, and actually, if anything, it's probably nice to see that Tiamat did not lead off with a spell.
You know, 2-man strats are absolutely fabulous for running through these seeds very quickly. When you get here, though, you have to have things kind of go a little bit favorably for you. And Artea has found so far that this has been pretty unfavorable. Now we're going to see what Tiamat 2 has today, because the other 3 have been awful.
The zap was not particularly favorable. The right Black Mages went down, but you were hoping probably to only see 1 go down.
Paralyzed. Tiamat 2 has paralyzed Artea's fighter, who's already been fast. He's going to stick with it a little bit. He's really paralyzed now. He's going to fire a nuke into Tiamat 2 for 171. This could be another reset. Oh, there goes the fighter. Round 6 for Artea in here now. He's going to continue to try it. He's going right. He's going to go and try to bulldoze Lich, and he's going to try to get through Kraken.
Yeah, he knows this Lich doesn't have too much HP, so 2 hits, and he's getting past that. Then you've got the Black Mages to absorb hits from Kraken. And as long as you're able to do enough damage before Nuclear comes out, you can do this.
This is just fascinating to watch, because Artea has the right idea every time he comes into these fights. He adjusts his party properly, and it's just that the Fiends today are just putting up stiff resistance.
Alright, that's half the equation. Now, Artea is just hoping to not see Nuclear before he does enough damage to this Kraken.
The fast is off. He's going to get a chance to attack with the Mazmoon after the fast in the first round. There it goes. 4 hits for only 178. He's going to continue the attack with a nuke. He strikes again for the Mazmoon for 401 and gets great turnover with another nuke for 368. Kraken comes back with Ice 2. Artea is really good shape so far. He's going to continue the assault. Here comes the Mazmoon, 246 after 7 hits, and it's good. It's 2 main light warriors. He's moving on for the title of one-day tournament Final Fantasy Randomizer champion. Artea is on the final ultimate boss of Chaos.
That was an outstanding result. He knew that he'd only seen the Nuclear once. He didn't know the RNG breakdown for that Kraken of how often it would do what action. It went better that time, and now the battle is on. The showdown with Chaos. Take it, Will.
Artea gets good turnover. He gets the fast off. That's all he wanted. Chaos attacks. Only 2 hits into the fighter. Artea continues the defense sword. Chaos obliterates the Black Mage, but he got the fast off. Artea is now at full defense. Any attack will essentially miss. Artea starts to fight back. Was that 47 damage? Oh no. 4 hits for 90. But Chaos is only attacking physically. Does he have anything hidden? Critical hit from the Mazmoon, gets through for 216. Another attack from Artea for the title. 5 hits, only 32. Rub misses. Again for the championship, Artea trying. The defending champion Edgeworth is out of this right now. All eyes to the right of your screen, it's Artea. 4 hits for 178, does not get it done. We're looking right around 2,000. He gets a free turn after a Chaos Inc. 5 hits for 192, he gets a critical from the Mazmoon. How about another Mazmoon? Only 39 damage, but the zap misses from Chaos. Again, Artea attacks. 131 is not enough. Chaos continues this physical assault. He's missing, then Lightning 2 does nothing. Artea, 5 hits, only 86. Another attack, 322 after a critical hit. Chaos is hurting. Oh no, there's a nuke! Where did that come from? Obliterates Artea. Chaos attacked, and then he fired a nuke, Maya, and took out Artea. He was toying with him.
So Chaos, I think the way that he was created for this seed, it looks like he wants to swing. He wants to do physical damage first. That is positive for Artea. The problem is that Artea cannot punch through this absorb with just the Masa at this point. So, he needs the fast. He needs to find some other way to get through this absorb. I don't know if that's a bonk. I don't know if you need to go find temper charges, or if you just need to keep attempting this. Maybe chat might know how much damage was there, because Artea was swinging and connecting, but that was not enough.
He was over 1,000 for sure, but I could not tell you how much more than that. He got a few crits off, but it's going to take more than that. That may be his goal. I think, well, he did pick up Vorpal. Does he have it in the bank for that fight? He may try it.
Yeah, because you can get the hits. Chaos Evasion isn't out of this world, it's his abs. He's got Absorb up the Chaos. Artea's going to go in again. He does not check those chests up there. He's intent on doing this. He has not checked them. The Power Gauntlet isn't there because we know his opponent Edgeworth has it. But in all this that has been going on, Artea's been doing this for about 8 minutes now. He entered it 1 hour and 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Edgeworth continues to climb up and get his stone and get closer and closer. He has... Come on, Edge, show me your screen. Two more.
Chat made a great point, and I overlooked this. My apologies. He hadn't used the tail, so he does not have Vorpal. He's got to just be hoping for Masa crits.
Edge only needs 1 more stone at this point, and so this, if he finds one, this is going to tighten up real fast. Edgeworth has access to Power Bonk and 3 characters that are ready to go, as opposed to 2. This could get tight down the stretch.
If anyone can hear my voice right now, this is Final Fantasy Randomizer here. These are our 2 top players. This is what we do. If you want to play this game and you want to get involved in any of this casually, competitively, whatever it is that you want to do, and you want to hit reset for the 10th time like Artea has just done, and have this much fun, Triton, where can they go?
FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. You have been warned. So we had this conversation in Discord earlier this week. Some people doubted the short Topher. They said it's not the game changer that full Temple of Fiends Revisited is. Well, guess what Temple of Fiends Revisited has been today? It has been the great equalizer.
It really has been, and I want to reiterate what Will and Trenton have both said here. You can play this. You can run this just like you see these 2 racers doing this. There are few to no glitches in this game. No really secret knowledge that you need to know in order to be able to learn this. Our community will be more than happy to share all of our secrets with you so that you can do this too. This game is really accessible, but at the same time, just like these 2 racers that you see here, they've been doing this for forever. They're experts at this, but you can go ahead and race with us as well. Artea's back to Chaos. Let's see how this goes.
He's down to the 2 Light Warriors again.
Not all the races look like this. We do all kinds of variety. There's plenty that look different than this one does. Now Artea, trying again.
10 minutes after he originally entered a short Temple of Fiends, Artea's made it to Chaos for a 2nd time. We know that he's about a dozen times he's been trying this. He knows there's a nuke in there, but he knows Chaos likes to hit. Number 1 priority is to get the fast off, and he does not.
Oh boy.
Chaos obliterates Kale. He's down to the... Oh, he's going to try the same strategy without the fast. I don't know about this, Maya.
So that takes half of your hits away. And so you're going to need to crit a lot. Wow, 1 damage. Great.
That's the
only 1 hit was honestly the bigger deal there. The fast is doubling your hits and doubling your chances Nuclear!
He's trying for an RNG loop. There's nuclear. We didn't see that skill. That's his first skill. We know Ice 2 is his first spell. There's another nuclear. That's 2 of them. Artea's down to 134 HP, and he can't hit this boss whatsoever. He's got to crit. He's got to crit really hard right now, and he's not doing it. He's going to try again. 107. No. Chaos fires the zap. Chaos again is toying with Artea. There's an NUKE coming after this lightning 2 down to 11 HP. Artea trying to win this. Chaos misses. Artea
He had an RNG loop. He had an RNG loop, but it was a bad one. It was locked in with chaos casting spells. He did have an RNG loop going there. Chaos kept doing the same thing.
Artea is leaving the Temple of Fiends. Edgeworth has found Carry. This will give him his shards.
Yep, this is a race now. Artea knows he needs more levels. He's going to go ahead and either use the Tiamat or, he's going to go ahead and play on Tiamat's Bridge of Destiny to find some additional charges. Edgeworth only has 1 Light Warrior up. What's happening here?
Well, hey, all you need is 1, really.
To 16 HP, Edgeworth gets through. He's missing that 1 shard. He can go kill Carry right now. Edgeworth might actually take the lead. Depends on how long Artea wants to go with this. He's got a paralyzed fighter right now. He's using the first encounter on the Bridge of Destiny. He saw this on his way to Tiamat. He's not going to use the trap tile. We know there are trap tile. They're somewhere by the original volcano area. He's going to pass on that. And he's putting his fighter at the bottom. We'll see what he does.
I'm not in great shape on resources here. We'll have to see what he has for heal pots.
I think he's hoping to basically do this with no healing, but I don't think he ever stopped and purchased the 90 heal potions at any point.
Ooh, this is going to be tight.
I've got to think, if I'm Artea, Trenton, and I'm having all that trouble in there, I got to think that Edgeworth is doing the same thing, given the caliber. These guys play together, they know each other so well, and I've got to be like, I think right now my opponent is going after it, and I gotta think that he's gonna go after it sooner rather than later right now with these levels that he's getting.
Well, I think in Artea's position, once you know you have to leave for levels, you've got to be decisive about it. Artea's strategy is built around getting to Temple of Fiends as fast as possible, and having the time built in to take those wipes, and if there's any RNG to be had, still get through. Harry's only going to survive 1 more hit. And there it is.
That was a 50-50 attempt there at the end there, and Edgeworth got the turn order that he needed in order to finish that off. That was awesome. He has all of the shards he needs, ladies and gentlemen. And so Temple of Fiends Revisited is on the docket for Edgeworth.
Maya, does he think something's up?
He has to.
Yeah, he has to?
Absolutely.
I would think. I know I would.
The other big thing to note is that Edgeworth is going to go in there with higher levels. He will be a little bit higher with that fighter especially than Artea's was. I believe Artea went in at level 20 and Edge is going with 22.
This is not going to be a gimme for Edgeworth. We know that both right side of Temple of Fiends and left side of Temple of Fiends are not pleasant. Edgeworth does not know that yet, and might have to take a couple, 2-3 attempts at this before he successfully navigates those really gross fiends before he gets his own attempt at chaos.
Edgeworth at the 1 hour 19 minute mark is headed towards the Temple of Fiends in its short Temple of Fiends Revisited. There's going to be a learning curve here as he attempts to go both right and left. He's got to take 2 fiend fights, and he's got to fight chaos, and they're all nasty.
We know that Edge has enough resources. I don't doubt he could beat the Seed with this party, with what he has. But he's got to get there, and he's got to put the whole thing together.
Yeah, and the difference here is he's got the levels, he's got a little bit of a stronger party for the 4 Light Warriors itself. He's got life, and he's got the Power Gauntlet.
Yep,
Will that make the difference?
Critically, he has the Power Bonk, and if he can keep his party healthy and alive and get to Chaos, that is going to be a big significant difference between the 2 types of attacks we've seen on Chaos so far.
Edgeworth leaves his fighter in the top slot, gets the fast off, and fires a nuke into Tiamat 2. It hits really good. 352, there's the Lightning 3 from Tiamat, round 2 for Edgeworth. He is in the lead now as Artea is leaving and going back in. He's going to continue his fights. The stop hits on the Black Mage. As Edgeworth continues to fight, there goes the Black Mage.
Artea does not want to have to leave Temple of Fiends a second time. You've got to make sure that you have enough. And you know that that chaos is nasty enough that Edge could still run into trouble there. You might even be thinking Edge is running into trouble that he's not already done.
Chip damage, Lightning 3 for 32, and attack 261. Edgeworth is through. He's going to move on to Chaos. No misstep. He is through. He's got life. He can bring up his Light Warriors. Power God. He's got the defense sword. We'll see how Edgeworth plays this.
Some of this is going to look very familiar to what Artea does. Move the fighter down to the last spot, do the defense, get where Chaos is not going to beat you by melee damage.
Yep. And look at the difference here now in party composition. Edgeworth has access to life at level 5. Up come the two light warriors that he's going to probably put at the top of his party to get swung at. Edgeworth is ready to go. Will, take us away. Let's see what happens.
Right behind Edgeworth is Artea. Artea has left his levels. He feels comfortable. He's right behind, but right now, all eyes this time to the left side of your screen. It's Edgeworth. He is the reigning Final Fantasy Randomizer one-day tournament champion trying to defend his title. He fought all day to get here. He's taken on one of the best at Artea, and he's in prime position for it. There's the ink skill from Artea after Edgeworth has fired an Invis 2, and he went right to the Power Gauntlet. Now that's 2 Invis 2s. We know Chaos is attack happy. Edgeworth doesn't know it. Make it 3 evasions now. He's going to start firing already. He's lining up a nuke, and he's going to try to get max evasion for his entire party, and right behind him is Artea. Artea is in the Temple of Fiends. That's 2 Power Gauntlets for Edgeworth, and max evasion for all 4 of his Light Warriors. We know there's Ice 2, Lightning 2, followed by a nuke, and there's a nuclear in there as well. He's lost the White Mage, but he gets some damage in from a resisted nuke at 116. Edge is going to start to attack another nuke, and it hits good, 296, and he gets the fast off. Chaos misses. That's the evasion, the strike from the Masmod of 491. He's got the fast off. Edgeworth in much better shape than what we saw from his opponent earlier in Artea. 370 for a nuke. Huge roll. Chaos attacks again, and he misses a free rounded Edgeworth, just doing damage and laying waste to Chaos, but only 68 that time. He's got a crit. Edgeworth gets another attack. 277. A critical hit from the Masmod. There's the nuclear. Black Mage is gone. Red Mage still standing. He's going to try to heal. He's going to put it all on Zoa, his fighter. Lightning 2. We know Nuke is after this. Red Mage is gone. 277 isn't enough. He got a critical. He gets turned order again. Is this enough? 234. No! There's a rub that misses. Zap misses. Edgeworth for the title. 395 terminated. Edgeworth is the Final Fantasy Randomizer one-day tournament champion, successfully defending his title.
Chat, there aren't enough GGs. Give me every GG you have got. What a race!
It was an absolute fantastic display of strategy from Edgeworth with a 4-man party to go ahead and there were 5 or 6 different stacks of Invis 2 to go ahead and take away Chaos's swinging. And after that, it was Bonk. He found the power bonk. He went ahead and he dove that Earth Cave floor that, you know, had a low number of chests to the amount of running around you had to do, and look at it pay off in spades with Power Bonk. Congratulations to Edgeworth. You know, he's the champion repeated twice for a reason, and congratulations to him. But let's not forget about Artea. Here he comes again.
Artea got the fast off before he lost the Black Mage, and he's got max defense. Artea starts to attack for 165. He knows what's going on here. He has got to crit. 176, good, not bad. Artea attacks again for 99 after 5 hits. Isn't going to get the job, and there's the Light 2. We know there's a nuclear looming. We know there's rub. There's the rub. There's a nuke coming up. Only 169. There's the zap coming up. Lightning 2 again. He's using spells now. He's not attacking Artea like he did earlier. Nuke, 338. Artea's down to 40 HP, 189. Artea gets an attack and he gets it done. 339. No, there's the ink. Artea hanging on for dear life. Chaos misses. Artea trying to finish this. 318 is not enough. Bane comes up from Chaos and it misses. Artea with a big strike. 183. No. 7 hits is not enough. How about another one? Chaos 99 is not enough. Lightning 2 down to 10 HP for HP. There it is, 87! Artea gets the job done! An official SRL time of... what is it?
1 hour, 22 minutes, 48 seconds, and 10 HP. Wow. Artea is through with a runner-up time. Congratulations to both of our runners for an absolute clinic. on how to do entrance floor shuffle in a shard hunt, we saw two very, very different strategies here, and it was absolutely, absolutely fantastic racing.
I mean, there are just so many things to say after this. I didn't know that if the finish of this one could possibly live up to what we saw last time. They were within a minute of each other.
Yeah, they were
I mean,
less
if
than
we
two,
could top
yeah.
it, we topped it. I mean, that was just phenomenal, the finish. After 4 rounds to come down to that for the win. And Edge, GG.
Thanks. I don't know what the hell I missed. I mean, I certainly got the bad end of things in early game, but I think I missed something late game pretty nasty.
Edgeworth, it to be honest, it wasn't what you missed, it was what you found. You had the power block, and that was a difference between you and your opponent. And so when you came into Temple of Fiends Revisited, it was a resource difference. Edgeworth or Artea had you by a good 8 to 10 minutes, and attempted. It just did not fall for him.
Edge, it's Will. GG's and congratulations.
Thank you.
Successful title defense on the one-day tournament of Final Fantasy Randomizer. Let me tell you a little bit about what happened with some numbers. Artea originally entered the Temple of Fiends Revisited with all the shards at 1 hour, 5 minutes. 12 attempts later, he could not get it done. He left. That's as you were searching for the last 2 shards. You found the last 2 shards. You went in and you took them down. Congratulations. And tell us about this match. Tell us about this format.
I like the one-day tournament format. I think Shard Hunt is definitely one of those runs that it's high variance, and I think it's not only because it's what locations you check, but with Short Topher, you can kind of get away with some stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to, like maybe just fish for turn order and get get a lucky start on setting up, and I don't know, it sounds like that's what happened.
It's not easy to run me out of breath, Edge, but you did it twice. Once again, congratulations. I did want to ask real quick, your buddy, the Tyro, did a little number on you there as you were trying to enter Mirage. Have you considered quite yet maybe a reflection period to maybe get some revenge on a Tyro?
No, are you kidding me? It was just like, hey, you're probably 8 to 10 minutes behind already. Let's just clock out now and go have a drink or something. And he was very insistent, and so after I took a break, I had to go back to the cardio.
Edge, it's Maya again. Quick question for you in regards to these one-day tournaments. This is the second time now that you've run 7.5, 8+ hours and successfully come through to the end of this. What do you think of these formats for these one-day tournaments? Now that you've won a gold medal twice in a row now.
The major difference is I liked the length of the breaks between the round of 4 and the round of 2. It definitely helped out, because it was nice just to get up, kind of clear my head, and dump all the information from the last seed. I do remember in the previous one-day tournament, when the races were closer together, I was confusing things like, oh no, it's sorcerers. Those guys had blaze. Wait, no, it's a new seed. Never mind.
You warmed my heart on that. We put a lot of thought into that before we started and tried to make sure we were giving a very runner-friendly schedule for a marathon session like this.
Yeah, and once again, thanks to you, Maya, and you, Trenton. Maya and Trenton were the ones that had the idea, put it together, scheduling the flag set. I did the flag testing for it and playing it. And this is what we came up with. So this is really a product of your two guys' idea that Edgeworth wins again. Edge, I wanted to ask you real quick. I thought I saw something that I don't think I've ever seen before. You had trouble in Melmond a little bit. Maybe you were trying to take fights and get gold. I'm not sure. You had the Tyro. You also had to reset right around by the waterfall and rewalk a little bit. I sensed frustration. Were you frustrated at all? Is that what it was?
Oh, I was super on till to the point where I tried to kill Carrie with 115 health on a night.
We noticed that you were cruising in for a carry fight with like your white mage had 1 HP, your fighter had 115, and you were just like, screw it, I'm gonna go ahead and try this anyways.
I didn't think I could walk out, and like I had nightmares of like previous seeds where I would get like 12 floors deep and die, and like, well, that's the nail in the coffin. So I figured, what the hell? It's the fastest way out. Either I win the fight and leave the dungeon, or I die and, well, I'm out of the race.
So if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, basically,
does.
I'm getting out one way or another.
As you mentioned a few minutes ago, kind of offhand, you felt like maybe you were 8 minutes behind. The previous match, with you and Artea finishing first and second place, you were at an hour 5, Artea was right at an hour. When you start to hit that hour, 105, 110, and you know that your opponent isn't finished, and you feel behind, does that make you think something's up in the final dungeon, or what does that make you think?
Yeah, that makes me think there's something terrible in the final dungeon, but like I didn't have a choice. I had to just go in and try it anyway. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I just started two-manning through some of the dungeons. I didn't quite get to 24 on the night, but certainly the extra health didn't hurt.
Edge, how does entrance floor shuffle change the way you play?
I have to take a lot better notes. That's the major thing.
Artea has joined us. GG, what a run to get to this point and then to have it be so close, but all those attempts.
The only thing that matters is you guys had a good race to watch. GG, Edge.
Yeah, GG.
Oh my goodness, did we ever? And thank you to the two of you for 8+ hours of racing. Artea, I'll ask you the same question I asked Edge just a few minutes ago. This is a bit of an endurance sprint, and where you have races on top of races. Now that you've been through this and you've made it all the way to the last race, talk a little bit about how you keep your brain sort of fresh from one race to the next.
Honestly, I don't, which is why I just wind up entering the same dungeon time and time again just to remind myself what's in there. As the race beforehand, I think I did the entire Intercontinent looking for Kraken. I remembered vaguely where he was, but specifically, I'm really rubbish at taking notes. I really should, but I don't. So my usual approach is just to methodically clear whatever I wind up finding, which in this case didn't work because I needed money early on. So as soon as I got the airship, I just flew around the entire world just looking for a couple of chests to have them starting cap.
Also, can we just appreciate that had to be one of your most epic kills of chaos ever, 10 HP?
I think that goes to the 15-minute silver hammer whacking.
No, yeah, that's definitely a high point.
Good point.
So Artea, you roll into Temple of Fiends Revisited at an hour and 5 minutes, and you take an attempt, and it doesn't go pleasantly. I think it was Lich with Nuke that greeted you at the beginning, and then a couple of more attempts occur. So talk to me about your thought process. We saw you bring 2 black mages up to see whether or not that would help. You were trying all sorts of fascinating stuff to sort of wind your way through Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Well, first your nuke on Lich isn't scary at all, because it's Lich. You can basically melee swing and nuke him to death, so at that point it's just RNG. If the nuke goes off, just try again, doesn't matter, you're right next door. The bigger issue is Kraken, which occasionally felt spell happy and occasionally felt melee happy. So getting through that was a bit of an issue. And after that, it was just try to get to Chaos and see what happens, see what Chaos has, get the information. Diving without 5 hits on Massa was risky. Without either Power Gauntlet or Temper or something to boost your melee attack. But I mean, I figured I'll just try it and see what happens. The first time I got to Chaos, I got a lot of damage on him, so I figured, I'll keep trying and see what happens. And eventually just gave up and went for that 5th hit, which turned out to be all I needed.
Artea, Wilcleosis here. GG's. Way to get through the gauntlet and take on Edgeworth. If you did, I didn't see it. Your opponent had the power gauntlet. It was in the first floor of Earth Cave, I think in the original volcano. Did you check the chests in Temple of Fiends Revisited, potentially for that type of item?
No. No, I didn't check the Dover chest. I rarely will. I will if I don't have a ribbon or I don't have a weapon. But Power Gauntlet isn't really something I go out of my way to look. I figured that Massa was good enough. Probably should have done that after dying a couple of times, but I'm stubborn.
You got obviously the Mazmoon late. We were talking during the show and during this match. We knew you needed a weapon. You knew you needed a weapon, obviously. You got it late. You thought it was good enough. Let's say you don't find that Mazmoon in that original waterfall area. You're there with the shards. You, as such an elite player of this game, are you going to go for it, at least test the waters, or are you going to continue lurking and get more levels and continue a search for a weapon in this type of scenario that you just played out?
With what I had, no. Because, I mean, I had the shards to dive Temple of Fiends rather quickly. It was just, I was swinging basically the equivalent of an al dente spaghetti noodle. Like, there's no way you're diving Temple of Fiends and killing the bosses down there with that kind of weapon.
Yeah, you just can't get away with it with weapon fixes on.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and you had that Excalibur taunting you the entire run.
I should have sold that damn thing.
Seriously.
I theorized about that at one point, actually. I think you already had Vorpal at that point, and I was contemplating if you might sell the Vorpal. Let's start with Artea. Any big takeaway from the whole day? It could be from any of the races or the whole experience. Any particular takeaway that you enjoyed?
I like the format. I'm not a fan of Dorito hunting, but the format itself, the idea of just having one day of essentially a marathon of races is good. I enjoy that.
My last question for Artea. Artea, you are, since I got you on, I got to ask you. You are the master of the two-man strat. You got a lot of people that watch you run two-man and say, "Wow, that looks easy. I'm going to try it too." But then, like when I try to do it, it's a hot mess. What advice do you have for individuals out there? When do you know two-man is on the table, and how do you make it look so easy?
Learn your really obscure spells that people never use. That's the first one, and run less early on. Just kill more things. You have less people soaking up experience, so even a couple of ogres is worth a fair bit of XP.
I've got one more as well for both players. Artea, I'll start with you too, please. We didn't get a chance to get to this earlier in the game because we were doing other things. This was an open party selection match, obviously, and all day. Now, you do those two-mans like Maya just talked about. In your opinion, and Edges, if you don't mind afterwards, does the game start before the game starts in party selection?
That's a tough one. It really depends on the flags. Really, I mean, if you're going for silly, outrageous boss scale, and you're really going to want either a source of white magic or a black belt, just to make sure that you can kill the fiends. Because fighters are great. Fighter black mage is freaking amazing, but sometimes you hit a wall of RNG, and the only way to pierce through it is to have 20 hits.
Edge.
Yeah, it's definitely true. Black belt and white mage are kind of the risk mitigation classes. A lot of times, I think two-man is the right strat, even though I don't run it myself, just because I'm not as comfortable with it. I certainly think, yeah, that's absolutely the right strat to go. But it all depends on the flags, really. 300% and up, I'll probably take a black belt, just because I don't want 20 hits from Kraken 2.
Well, as we wrap this up, I want to peel back the curtain just a little bit and let people know some of the things they didn't see. I had brought up the idea of the one-day tournament in the past, and then it was really Maya who pushed it. Maya said, let's do it on this date, all these kind of things. Maya did a lot of that. He's so good at organizing, and I appreciate him pushing that. Will, he jumped on the same wavelength with us. He got really involved with this one and helped us make it happen. So I'm really honored to share the booth with these two guys. It's been an amazing experience, and to see these two one-day tournaments just pay off as much as they did. As a viewer, the experience has just been incredible. I love it. I love every minute of it. I thank each and every one of you who entered the race today, not just Artea, not just Edge, all 20 of you who entered the first round. I appreciate it. Everybody who entered the first one, thank you so much for getting us to this point and giving us such a tremendous experience today. I'm so grateful. Thank you to all of you who also joined us watching tonight on Speed Gaming and throughout the day. Glad you all liked it as well.
I'm going to absolutely echo what Trenton just said. I'm sitting in a Discord chat room looking at the names of the community members that I'm surrounded by right now. We've got Artea, Czar, Edgeworth, Trenton, and Will Cleosis. What an honor and a privilege it is to be here right now, commentating this match between SRL number 1 and SRL number 2 in this Final Fantasy Randomizer community. And everybody that was in the chat room, that all of those wonderful Final Fantasy Randomizer community names that were here this evening, hyping up in race chat. It's just, I'm so thrilled to be here. Trenton, Will Cleosis, both of you are just fantastic to work with. And it is I that am in your debt for being able to share the race with you. Same thing to be able to watch Edgeworth and Artea go at it. Was just an absolute privilege as well. So I'm going to throw it over to Will next. Will, do you want to let people know that we've got a tournament coming up and it's going to look kind of like this? But thank you to everyone. This has just been amazing.
We do, definitely. Actually, Czar, you're around. I want to see if you're available, actually. You know a little bit more than I do as far as dates and times. Well, we find out if you're available, Czar. I want to remind everyone that coming up on Speed Gaming 4 in just a few minutes, Zelda 1 Randomizer, all boards, no swords tournament, Dark Falls, and Chess Jerk is coming up on Speed Gaming 4. Speed Gaming Prime, Speed Gaming 1, Zelda 1 Randomizer also continues at 11 p.m. Eastern. All these times are Eastern tonight. And guys, I can't echo it anymore. I'm the new guy here, and it is such an honor to be here and work with you guys. I can't tell you how much and how great it is. And Czar, are you with us?
I am, yes.
Czar, give us the information about some of the upcoming events that are just going to be absolutely awesome coming from our community of Final Fantasy Randomizer.
Well, we have quite a bit of things coming up on deck. First of all, we have the Chaos Rush tournament, which will be going down. I believe they are starting on the 1st of March. That tournament should be pretty hyped. The races should be quite swift, and I think some strategies will be employed. Some very unique strategies. So if you like short broadcast swift races, definitely check out the Chaos Rush race. We also have the Spring Tournament, which will be starting around the 3rd week of March. We have no official word yet, but it's looking like this tournament will have an entry round town shuffle, and there has been a lot of careful planning, feedback, and testing when it comes to testing the flags and ensuring that we give everyone the best experience we can for the upcoming spring tournament for the initial Swiss round. And we also have, if I understand correctly, another tournament coming up that's hosted by Artea. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Artea?
Yeah, so I was thinking, what kind of format would I actually enjoy in a tournament, like flag sets and whatever that other people will also enjoy, and came up with the idea of just having a very vanilla baseline set of flags that then participants would choose within a pool of options for each individual race. what would be going on for that race. So you might see match number 1 be an entrance shuffle with crazy stats, and then the next one's going to be some vanilla spells with a ridiculous amount of experience. So definitely keep an eye on that. There are a couple of familiar names already signed up for that one.
Right, so a couple of things as we start to put a bow on this. A big thank you to the development team who has made this randomizer so great. It started with Entropers. So many great people have come along. And I don't want to shortchange anybody, but join the Discord, please. You can see all the great people yourselves and thank them. We have the man himself, Easel's in chat, hyping up the upcoming Z1R. And again, we'll say thank you to Fiesel and Speed Gaming for hosting us tonight. It is so appreciated. And to everyone else, I just can't say it enough. Thank you so much, and hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Let's watch some more Rando.
Speaking of Rando, it is not Speed Gaming 4. It is right here, Speed Gaming 2. I see the broadcast booth for Zelda 1 just across the hall right now. They're setting up. It's going to be Dark Falls and Chest Jerk coming up in just a few minutes. That's going to be right here on Speed Gaming 2. Stay tuned. Me and Triton are probably going to go watch it, talk about the match that these two elite players put on. Maya, any final thoughts before we wrap up, my friend?
Just everybody, hit up our FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, hit up the Discord. You could, like I said earlier, you too can be joining us racing. It's easy to learn, hard to master. What Edgeworth and Artea did tonight was fantastic and difficult, but you can play with us. So go ahead and give us a follow.
Come play with us anytime. We've got our Duckling section headed by Moist Mogwai. You yourself can get your own Wilkliosis call someday, maybe. FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. If you're watching this match on replay some other day, potentially on a YouTube, Speed Gaming and Fiesel and Mr. Broadstone and Vince Easter, all the work that they do, they put them up on YouTube. They're played later. That's where I came from. That's where I discovered this community. You can go play it. FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. There's a link to the Discord there. That's where it all begins. That's where I went. I know that's where Nitz, our developer, went. That's where you go. Meanwhile, coming up right now, Dark Falls taking on Chest Jerk in Zelda 1 Randomizer, all boards, no swords tournament. For Ikbin Maya, Triton GL, Zardia, Edgeworth, Artea, my name is Wilkliosis. Thank you for joining us on Saturday Night Shenanigans. We'll see you soon.